there was an article out. I don't know if you sent it to me or somebody sent it, and I've retweeted it, but there is an investigation that has been launched by the DOJ into that CCP money, the PPP fraud, the money,
PPP money?
The PP money, and the ministries that misused it. But look, you say, how's that related? It's related a lot, because a lot of these same ministries that were abusing and fleecing the government are likely, with their handout, Mark, if they're going to fleece the American government, it's not a stretch to believe they got their handout somewhere else. They've got their handout.
You mean the $4.4 million that Joel Osteen took in PPP money?
Unbelievable.
$4.4 million, and this guy lives in a 20,000 square foot home.
Yeah.
And how much money? He's worth tens of millions of dollars.
Easy.
And he's going to take that money from taxpayers so that small businesses can't get that money for themselves.
Yeah.
That same guy? That's what you're talking about, right?
That same guy.
I just want to make sure.
And there's others just like him. And again, no conscience whatsoever. And again, I just think if they're willing to fleece our government for that, there's not a stretch to believe that they would try to put their hand out to somebody else for their money. Because if they're going to sell their own soul down the river for funds from this nation, there ain't no stretch to me to believe that they wouldn't hand their money out. And I just think that the CCP influence is going to reach across the board. It's frustrating to me. It's disgusting that he doesn't have more loyalty among them. I read today, General Flynn basically came out, or yesterday, it was an article over the weekend, and he said, look, I've got all the proof. All I got to do is President Trump wants it. I've got it. And I think President Trump does want it. I think that they filed the brief today officially with the Supreme Court to have the Pennsylvania recount done. Lynn Wood is suing for Georgia. Mark, a lot of these things have to play out. And look, at the end of the day, though, it may not be the courts. It's going to be those state legislators. And again, those state legislators are in the hands of Republicans. I do want to say this about the local circle, and this is the question that's going to really be the million-dollar question. The Republican National Convention has betrayed him in the worst of ways, headed by Roma McDaniel, who is Mitt Romney's niece. Well, she's Mitt Romney's niece.
Yeah.
I think the other byproduct of all this hoopla that we're seeing is the rise of another political party. Now, President Trump has got to put a good face on it right now, and he's not going to come out and tell the world that we're going to get rid of the Republicans right now, because he still needs them up until the time he lays his hand on that Bible. But the second after that, he don't owe the Republican Party anything after that. And I totally believe that there's going to be what to pay, and it's down below to pay for a lot of people in that Republican establishment. They don't know what's going to hit him. And I just think that I see the rise of another movement in this country, and there's enough people, because out of that 75 million, Mark, a lot of that wasn't even Republican. It was MAGA. It was MAGA patriots that voted for President Trump. Correct? Am I far off on that?
No, absolutely not. Because I've been tweeting that out for a while now, that we need a new party, because the GOP is worthless, totally, completely worthless at this point. They're no better than the Democrats at this point. They haven't fought for the president. They haven't stuck up for the president. We need a new party. I like to call it the Patriot Party.
I think it'd be great.
But that's nor here nor there. But I mean, the point being, this is going to lead to another party. We've been saying this for a couple of months now, probably more than that, longer than that now. But I mean, I don't know. Look, I know this. The president has got to get some people around him that he can trust, Chris. Because right now he can't trust anybody at this point. I want to go into something a little different here, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, bud. You're fine. Absolutely.
There's some stuff going on. We've been talking about literally this now for a while now about this. These prophetic words that are going out. Every Joe Schmuckatelli's got a YouTube channel or a Facebook page or this, that, and the other. Everybody's got a dream. Everybody's got a vision. Everybody's got a prophetic word. And there's issues going on here. The prophetic is becoming the pathetic. Is what it's going on. I'll say that again. The prophetic is becoming the pathetic, and God's bringing order to that right now. He's exposing the false right now. I don't care if you're a false prophet. I don't care if you're a false teacher, false preacher, which we're seeing all over the place right here. God's exposing them left and right. So God's going to expose these things. Here's the problem. I'm going to say something very controversial. I really don't care. I'm going to say it anyway, okay? There is people out there that are prophesying. They're hearing from the second heaven, and they're prophesying as if it was from the third heaven. I've been saying this for more than, 2-3 years. I've been coming on here. I've been saying that, right?
That's right.
The doom and gloomers especially. I got some confirmation of some stuff today. Now, I've got some notes here. Now, the Bible talks about you judge a prophet by his fruit. What is the fruit of that individual? John Paul Jackson always instilled in his patients one thing: character, 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 period. Character is the foundation upon which everything is built. And what happens is in ministry is you see people that are more enthralled or more important with their gifting. They put gifting first. They never go through the character building process. And it's the other way around. God doesn't look at your gift like it's priority. It's character, always character. If you don't drill down deep with your character, think of it like a concrete foundation. If all you've got is a 6-inch foundation that you can build a house on, but you're wanting to build a high-rise ministry on it, that's why these guys collapse all the time. It's because they didn't go deep enough with the character building process to establish a foundation, which is why they collapse constantly. Now, here's the thing. There are prophets and prophetesses all over the world right now, because God's exposing this. I've been saying this for, 3 years now. God has said that the spirit of Elijah and the prophets of Baal are going to come into another clash. We're in that clash right now, literally. And it is coming to a head as we speak, just like it is with the electorals. Again, political and religious are doing this. They're paralleling one another. It's coming to a head. But there are prophets and prophetesses all over the world that are high-level psychics, masquerading as prophets and prophetesses and prophetic voices. They're operating in divination. They're operating in channeling. They're getting channeling from powers and principalities, and they're skewing it, making it sound like that they're telling the future when in fact they are not. The devil cannot tell the future. Only God can tell the future. I'm going to say this again. Psychics pull from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil information. Prophets and prophetic people pull revelation from the tree of life. And I'm going to use this story again, so that I'm going to ram this point home. John Paul Jackson goes in. This is how it works. John Paul Jackson goes in one day to rent an apartment from the manager. He walks into the manager's office. She's sitting behind the desk. She looks at him and says, "Ooh, you have a gift." So she says, "Let me see your watch." He hands her the watch. She starts rubbing the watch and she says, "There's a blonde girl that's going to send you a letter 3 days from today, and she's going to want to reconcile your relationship." So he gets all skeeved out, takes the watch back, throws it in the dumpster because it's contaminated now, and goes home. 3 days later, exactly what that lady said took place. She received that letter, or he received that letter from the blonde girl that he used to know and wanted to reconcile a relationship. Now, did the psychic tell the future, or did she pervert it? She perverted it. She did it because she was listening to a demonic being, a familiar spirit, standing over the top of that woman, watching her write the letter and post-date it. That's what they're doing. So when someone says, well, this is one of the keys now, I'm going to give some keys here, what to watch for some of these people. When you see someone that's prophesying current events over and over and over again, something we've all known for 2 or 3 weeks or heard for 2 or 3 months, and because see, a true prophet is going to say something, he's going to speak something years in advance, something he's got to stand on for years in the spiritual maturity, right? But when someone's doing this over and over again, where it's these current events, and it's nothing that's way in the future, that's a bad sign right there. When it's over and over again, I'm not saying they can't give a warning for something that's going on currently, okay? That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But you have to listen to their words very carefully. And so this is where we have to come into the discerning of spirits, discerning of what's going on, who's who and what's what. I talked to our good friend Gina Phillips today. I had a long conversation with Gina. And for those who don't know Gina, she's a SRA, MK Ultra mind control counselor and deliverance minister. This lady knows what she's talking about when it comes to being mind controlled. And I asked Gina, flat out, I said, Gina, when they program someone, can they program the Bible in them? She said, absolutely, yes, they do it almost with every single subject, just about. And so this is how some of them know the Bible from cover to cover, because they've been programmed with it. And I said, this is what the Lord has been showing me, what I've been telling you guys right now. She confirmed it scientifically. She confirmed it. I said, yes, absolutely, everything you're saying pretty much. And she says, but I have had people literally fall down on the floorboard of her car and begin to prophesy in the name of the Lord because they were channeling powers and principalities. This is what's so scary about this right now, Chris, is we have every Tom, Dick, and Harry all over the globe claiming to be a prophet or a prophetess right now, or to have a channel. I've got a dream, I've got a vision, I've got a prophetic word, whatever it is, when it's divination or they're channeling. And the problem is we don't know the difference most of the time as people of God, because we've never been taught the discernment in order to what to look for this stuff. You judge a prophet by his fruit. Character is everything. Does the prophet or prophetess, do they love the spotlight? Look out. Are they prophesying constantly current events? Look out. There's different things that you look for in character. Are you willing to compromise with the world in order to get your name out? Are you willing to compromise by working with some individuals that might be, a little off here, but you just want to make a name for yourself or a ministry for yourself? Look out. This is character, guys. This is what God has been talking about. Look, this is the divination. What is the fruit of this person? The divination, the channeling. Again, listen to the words within the words. That word came from Melissa Leggett. Listen to the words within the prophetic word. Is it fluff? Is it a religious spirit trying to woo the people? This is what we all have to discern. What's going on? Which spirit are they prophesying from? Compromise, again, with the world. Are they a 501c3? That's compromise with the world. Are they incorporated? That's compromise with the world, guys. When you look, and I'm not saying this bragging, I'm using this as an example. If someone calls Mark Taylor, I am the ministry. I'm not incorporated. I don't have a 501c3. I don't have an official ministry.
Same here.
I'm it.
That's it. Same
Where
here.
did Jesus, when he chose the disciples, say, you need to incorporate, guys? You need to open up a 501c3. You can't follow me unless you have a corporation. You can't give your tithes unless I can give you a tax deduction. Okay?
You're right.
Look.
Keep on, brother.
Again,
Come on.
Look.
No, keep on.
This is compromise. There is no compromising right now in today's time if you're going to walk with Christ, period. Because God is going to expose it. And if you're doing stuff right now, if someone's being convicted, if you're being convicted right now, that's the Holy Spirit telling you you're doing something wrong right now. And you need to deal with it. Again, He is testing every man, woman, and child on this planet when it comes to character right now, brother. And the problem is, we need to be discerning who's true and who's false right now. And most people don't even know. They jump from one person to the next to the next. One of the bad signs is that these guys are being propped up by someone, is if all of a sudden they jump up with a huge following somewhere. A good friend Liz Crokin talks about it all the time. Mossad will infiltrate, the CIA will infiltrate. They have infiltrated every aspect. And when someone comes up on a search engine like number 2, or someone comes up, or all of a sudden, bang, they got 1.5 million followers out of nowhere, something's wrong somewhere, guys. These are all red flags. Look, God will give you a little red flag here, a piece of the puzzle, a little red flag there, a little red flag. Once you get enough of these red flags together, it starts painting a picture. Be careful who you follow right now. This is a life and death thing right now, Chris. I cannot emphasize this. This is life and death. Look at these people that are following these guys right now that are telling Trump to concede.
Exactly. That's a great point.
This is life and death of not just our country, because if America goes down, so does the rest of the world right now. I cannot emphasize this. It is no different spiritually. These spiritual vipers are all around the president right now. Literally. Now, look, here's the other thing. The psychics have invaded the White House, and they have control of it right now.
That's right.
When you look at the White House, and it's a generational curse. Look at the presidents in the past. Who did they call upon, Chris? The psychics. They didn't call upon the prophets.
Reagan.
They called on the psychics. Now, look, they've said that the White House is clean. I disagree. It may be clean in the physical. It's not clean in the spiritual. That generational curse has to be broken off the White House. And the true prophetic voice needs to come in. What have they done? Who's the gatekeeper up there? What have they done? They've kept the true prophetic away from the president. Why? Because they don't want him knowing the truth. It's all about having the king's ear. And I'm telling you now, The betrayer sits at the king's table. That's all I'm going to say. The betrayer sits at the king's table, but they're doing everything they can to protect this president in the natural and in the spiritual, keeping the truth away from him. Look what they're doing. I'm sure that even General Flynn and Sidney Powell probably have a hard time at times getting the truth to the president. Why? It's all about having the king's ear. This is all about truth right now. And they don't want it, whether it's in the natural or the spiritual. They don't want truth coming near the king's ear.